Welcome to the show. I'm Danella, and here's what's happening now. I tell you, 2017, not going out without a fight. It has been an eventful week. A lot to get into, political pop. That's all I'm going to say. That's coming up. Also in our show, as we near to the holidays and get ready for the end of the year, I have a couple of tips for you guys. 3, in fact, that'll help you not only deal with the stress of the holidays, but really something to help you get through the entire upcoming year. A couple ideas that you might not have thought about already. So I'll be excited to get into that. But first, let's just get right into the show. An update on the fire in Southern California, the Thomas Fire, already the state's second largest fire in history. Now, here's the thing. It has so far claimed 2 lives. It has forced more than 100,000 people to evacuate. And you want to talk about property damage? It has destroyed over 1,300 structures so far. Now, they say that containment should happen around January 7th. That's when they estimate it to be completely contained. Between now and then, they estimate that it may grow to be the state's largest fire. So please continue to pray for the folks out there, everybody that's affected, everyone that is fighting the fires, and all the good Samaritans that have opened up their hearts, opened up their homes to help feed the firefighters and also the victims that are affected. So now let's move over to an update on Facebook. For those of you, there's a lot of you that love Facebook. I have an update for you that I hope really doesn't affect you. I hope you're not in this category, because Facebook has an algorithm that's going to shut some people down. This new algorithm, it's geared up to stop spam. So how many times have you seen this on your Facebook page, right? Posts load up that say this: hey, like if you're a Capricorn. Like, I would have wrote, if it's your birthday, make some noise, like this post. But anyway, the idea is that you use clickbait for likes. And so they have a new algorithm, and if they deem your page is doing that, they're shutting you down. Yeah. They're going to lower the visibility of your post and then impose larger fractions for folks who keep doing this, right? So don't let it be you, because they're serious. They will shut you down, make it so you can't place any ads. But good news is, if you're somebody that's just posting a general question like, hey, what do you think about this? You won't be affected. It's amazing what computers can do. They're going to find you. They're going to find you. All right, let's talk science. This week was also an interesting week for science. Did you hear about this? A new mom. This happened last month. She's a new mother in Tennessee. She is actually just a year older than the embryo that was placed inside of her. Yeah, I had never heard about this. It's called embryo adoption. So it's perfect for families who can't have kids. If the husband can't have children and if the mom can't have children, then what they can do is actually adopt an embryo. And this embryo was 25 years old. So the mom is 26. And yeah, she just had her baby girl, Emma, last month. They say Emma is a completely healthy baby girl. That's pretty amazing. It's pretty amazing. And the mom says this: hey, me and Emma, we could have been sisters. That's true. They could have been. So congratulations to them, both baby, mother, husband. Everybody's fine and happy, and all they can think about is baby Emma. And all I can think about is what? We can adopt embryos now? Yeah, so the whole process is similar to a normal standard adoption in a sense where, they'll definitely do a home visit. But in addition to a home visit, they have to make sure that the mom is healthy. They have to do all these screenings, and then you can pick your baby. Well, pick the couple that you'd like to adopt your embryo from. So in this case, the mom picked another family, and that wasn't a viable embryo. And so what happened was she picked her second choice. She had no idea that it would make history, and it did. So congrats to them. Also in science, the government has lifted a ban on research. Now they're going to start funding again. What are they funding? Research to make lethal viruses more lethal. Yes. First, let's talk about why there was a ban in place. Well, for obvious reasons, like destruction. But yeah, what ended up happening was they had several instances where potentially deadly pathogens were mishandled. We'll go back to 2014, talk about one that happened with the U.S. Center for Disease Control and Prevention. These folks accidentally exposed a dozen of workers to anthrax. Yeah, and around that same time, vials of deadly smallpox viruses were found in a cardboard box in an unsecured refrigerator. This was at the National Institutes of Health campus in Bethesda, Maryland. Yes, NIH, can you believe that? Yeah, so that's why they put the ban in place. So now they've decided to lift the ban. Why? Because scientists say they want to better understand viruses like the flu and other deadly viruses. And here's how they got the approval. They say that the research has to be ethically justifiable. That's what they're saying. And also, the research has to take place by an approved researcher who has an approved lab. The institute that's funding the research has to be able to make sure that it's really contained and safe, and also have the ability to respond in case something goes wrong. So what's the worst that can happen? Well, besides every single sci-fi horror flick you've ever seen, zombie apocalypse, destruction of the world, yeah, that's the worst that can happen. Besides that, here's what the critics say. Critics say that research could unleash a new germ that threatens millions if not properly stored, or if it escapes from a lab. See this look of disgust on my face? That means it's time for Political Pop for Friday, December 22nd. The government was able to avoid a shutdown. Great win for the government. But I want to take you back to earlier this week and the situation with the CDC. First, it was this. The Washington Post came out with a report saying several sources with the CDC said that the Trump administration released 7 words they now have to avoid when reporting on the budget. And then the head of the CDC, she came out and said, heck no, that is not true. That never went down. Well, the Human Rights Campaign, they're not buying it. The Human Rights Campaign, in fact, they issued this, a Freedom of Information Act. That's major. It's saying for the freedom of the press, we have a right to know the truth. So we shall be hearing the truth soon. So here are the words, the alleged words. They are diversity, entitlement, fetus, transgender, vulnerable, evidence-based, and science-based. Anyway, it's a hot mess. I'm definitely going to follow it. And that is your Political Pop. And now let's get into In Our World. The holidays, they're here. We are in it. And it is super stressful. Also, we're ending the year. We're wrapping up the final days of 2017. We're going to welcome 2018 with renewed energy, but we got to get there first. And it's a lot of stress. So I found this article on actually CNN.com. It was really good in that it had some ideas about how to release your stress, how to get through the holidays. Some we know, so I'm not going to go over the obvious, such as drinking water, more water, and exercising. We know those. But there were 3 that really stood out to me that I want to share with you. The first is this, breathing. Now, I can tell you from personal experience, one of the things, especially when I'm doing media training and I'm speaking about how to work through nerves, I tell my clients this, even myself, when I'm feeling nervous, and I'll actually do this as a media tip later, but in more detail. But when I'm feeling nervous, what I've realized, especially when I first started out, I have this weird thing. If I'm on stage and there's a bunch, and I'm talking about thousands of people, for some reason I feel less nervous than if it's more intimate. I know it's weird. And if it's people I know that's in the audience, I also feel more nervous than if I'm in a town where I don't know people. So anyway, what I've noticed is right before I come on stage, I would see my hands like shake. And even if internally I felt at peace, I realized like I would like hold a paper and my hand would shake a little. This is when I first started out. And that's when I learned that I needed more oxygen. And what I do is I teach a meditative breath that actually gets more oxygen into your body. And what I found through actually doing this breathing, and I do this anytime I'm in a large crowd or an intimate crowd where I'm nervous about, my family or friends being there. I do that meditative breath because what I realize is that even if I feel like my mind is calm, my breathing is shallow. Because I'm anticipating this, the excitement, the energy, anticipating what's about to happen. And so a lot of times when that happens, you have shallow breathing. Think about it. When you get afraid, what's the first thing you do when someone scares you? Boo, you go, and you stop your breath. So the idea is when you're nervous, when you're afraid, when you're anxious, a lot of times we're not getting the oxygen that our body needs to truly just calm down. So yeah, they recommend breathing better. And there's so many ways you can achieve this, really by taking deep breaths in through the nose, out through the mouth. Really taking those full breaths. And you'll really feel, if you do one with me right now, if we do it together, you'll feel yourself become more relaxed. Let's do it together. It is more relaxing. Just practice breathing to help ease you. Here's one more active activity you can do. They say actively practice gratitude. They suggest having a gratitude board where every day you just write down the things that you are grateful for that day. At the end of your day, you just write them down. And then when you wake up in the morning, you can see, you can go to bed at night and see all these things you are grateful for. And it could be little things, depending on what your struggle is. It could be, we have electricity. I'm grateful we have electricity. I'm grateful to wake up. I'm grateful to be able to walk. I'm grateful that I didn't curse anybody out today. Listen, I've had that struggle. I have had that struggle in the past. I remember when I was in college, in order to get through my very angry attitude that I carried with me, to work through that anger, I had to start being grateful for the days that I didn't shut it down for somebody. Yeah, thank you for letting me go through a day and not having to go back to the old me. Yeah, so anyway, figure out what you're grateful for. And they say that one of the ways to get through stress, and I say take this into the new year, is really actively, consciously, every day, talk about, be thankful, be grateful for all the blessings in your life. And finally, they say you should cultivate compassion. Now, this I thought was amazing. They recommend what they call a compassion meditation. And what they say this is that you close your eyes and you think of somebody that needs compassion. See the person and say, I wish you peace. I wish you love. I wish you happiness. And they suggest doing this compassion meditation, seeing this person, repeating that phrase, and that it could really help relieve stress. Now, I'm definitely adding that one. And I think about, for those of you that actually pray for others, it's that same idea of praying for others, but really seeing that person and focusing in a meditative place and sending that person peace, love, and happiness. I think it is great. Not only are you doing something amazing for somebody else that really needs your compassion, but it'll also help release your stress. So that about wraps up our show for this week. I would like to wish you and your family love, happiness, and peace. I know the holidays can be stressful, but let's not forget what the true reason is. Whatever your holiday, whether you are celebrating Christmas, whether you are in Hanukkah or preparing for Kwanzaa, think about the reason for the holiday. So with that being said, thank you so much for joining the show. Sending out love and light to you and your family. And I will see you next time.